And I'm so glad we're talking.
Yeah, Pete,
Can you hear me?
yo,
Okay.
PT, that was, man. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
It's like one one of the things you just said just struck. I might have told you this, but like during this whole period of, which was obviously trying for all of us, man, I found a peace beyond understanding, and I started to understand what that meant more, um,
Yeah.
and trusting in that peace. And I always say peace, and that is something that I think in saying it, I do my best to live it. And as you said, during those difficult times. But I think one of the most like enlightening things for me was to really find it in a time where it was so much chaos and uncertainty, and to really like embrace that peace and know what God's peace is. And that, man, it's so great for me, man. So great for me.
I love it. I was going to ask you about that because I noticed, you never start anything. I've never heard you start anything, any conversation without that word peace.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like you're sending that peace ahead of you. And I was literally going to ask you about it. And then when I couldn't get on, I'm like, I need you to release some of that peace. I need you to release some of that peace.
Yeah.
But
What's crazy though, PT, is that originally I was getting it from hip hop, like hearing Rakim and Pooh Bah and Big Daddy Kane, them saying peace, and Rakim was like peace, peace, peace. And then it became something that I applied in my life, and it's funny, man, some things that you get early on, you don't even recognize the meaning of it as much. And then you get it later on and really actually start to say, man, I understand this from a different perspective. That happens so much for me with like scripture now. Like I'm like, oh, that's what this really means, and I see it from a new place now. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But I gotta say, just on another note, I was one side conversation we had that I was super geek where you was telling me, I was like, yo, PT, what hip hop you like? He was like EPMD, Black Moon, Tribe Called
yeah.
Quest. I said, yo, this PT is my God, boy. This is amazing to have a leader of your stature and just somebody with your gifts be telling me they listen to EPMD and Black Moon. I love it.
Oh man, that was everything. And it's crazy because I'm from LA, like born and
Yeah,
raised in California, and of course we had our great artists here. But what I gravitated to all the more were some of the rappers on the other coast. But EPMD, man, you guys I mean, just all that, man. Pete Rock and CL Smooth, man. You put Reminisce on right now,
ooh,
I will
come on.
turn this sucker out.
I
I'll
know,
turn it
man.
out, baby.
I'll be playing them in the mornings, man, just to get me geek sometimes. I mean, I play my inspirational music, my gospel music, but then I also get into, when I'm about to get into my workouts, I'll be getting into that Pete Rock and Black Moon and Smith and Wesson and those guys. But I know,
Yeah.
man, I mean, I really wanted to talk to you because I've been listening to your sermons on I listen to you all the time, man. But
Wow.
you really kind of sparked something in me about this, releasing it and not holding on to things that don't serve you. So I kind of just wanted to, as I go on this 7 days of imagination, just share like who you are in my life and who you are in so many people's lives. I wanted, just to be able to talk to you about releasing and what that has been and what that can be for people.
Yeah, that's incredible, and I think it's a powerful subject because it's easy to say release or what we need to release. It's actually difficult to execute a lot of times. So it is something that you have to talk about. I mean, most people have heard before. You got to release this. You got to forgive somebody. You got to release this out of your life. But the reason why we keep having to have the conversation is because the actual execution of it is difficult. And I think that for me, like one of the things we're gonna release that siren.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna release that siren out there.
We're gonna release
I'm
that
not
siren.
exactly.
But like one of the things um, that I think helps me release, because I've had to release a lot of things, and we can get into it. But it's to understand that release is normal. It's actually natural. It's healthy. I mean, you even think about creation. In order for life to be born, a seed has to be released. And then
Yeah,
once that seed connects with the egg, and that life begins to grow inside her, she's got to release that life into the world for it to grow and prosper. Then parents have to release their kids. The digestive system is about release, and so, breathing
Yeah,
is release. We inhale, we release, exhale. And so to recognize that release is normal, is everything to me. It's normal. It's not, it's I think that the more we can recognize that something is not foreign, that it's actually normal, then we can better position ourselves to do it.
yeah. I never thought of it that way. The as you said, technology is freezing up a little bit on us, but
Oh, okay.
but I never thought about what you said in that way, that it is normal, because it sometimes feels so like, oh, I got to get rid of this, and like, and it's something that we don't think about. Is like, okay, let me make this as part of my daily practice, is releasing whatever things. And I've been lately like getting into to like breathing more, like, and meditating, and meditating on the word of God, and releasing things that also just are not a part of me. And also I've been like trying to figure ways to get rid of things that I keep like doing over and over. And we talked about it. Therapy was one of those things that was something that was beneficial for my life, to release some things that have been in my life that weren't good. But then also I wanted to ask you, what things, because you talked about us going back to patterns that we do. And I wanted to ask you what some of the ways that you found people to be helpful for people to release things. Like, what's some methods or practices that have been beneficial for you, or for you've seen for others?
Yeah, I think first of all, in order to do anything, we have to have motivation. Like, there's got to be something that's driving us or that's motivating us, that's greater than whether it's the temptation or greater than the draw to whatever. It has to begin with a vision. This is truly where I want my life to go, and this is why I'm motivated. It can be, I want to be, it could be being in shape. I want to be in great shape. I want to be in great health. I want to be a great spouse, or I want to be a great single person. I want to be a great entrepreneur or artist or whatever. So there has to be something that is the driving force. Like, there's a lot of things that I released. We've had some real deep conversations or whatever, but there's a lot of things that I released because at the end of the day, I knew that they weren't serving me. Like, there's some things. I mean, I'll just tell you straight out. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
play.
yeah,
Like, I was crazy. Am I breaking up? Am I okay?
yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
I might shift where I'm at. Is it bad?
Yeah. Want me to, yeah, it's been going in and out. Want me to reboot?
No, I'm gonna move because
Okay.
we're gonna release this bad technology.
Yeah.
we're gonna release it. Yeah, see, I got full. Yeah, this. We're gonna go in my bathroom. Yeah, that's how we're gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's better already. That's great.
okay, I got full. Yeah, I got full. I'm just gonna set it up right.
Yeah.
I stand up. It's cool. I stand up. Um, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, yeah, no problem, man. We
Yeah, I
good.
got.
We grateful to have you, man. I'm grateful to talk to you with the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Um, but so for me, like, one of the things that I had to release, honestly, is man, there's nothing wrong with being sexual. We are sexual beings. We were created to be sexual. But there was a time in my life where I was out of control with it, as a young man. And it was keeping me from things because I was giving so much energy to it. I couldn't give energy to being a better person. Obviously, this before I was, ministering and all that kind of stuff. But I recognized as I was growing and evolving as a man, like, this is keeping me. But it had a big grip on me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was like, it wasn't just something you just wake up in the morning and say, I ain't gonna do no more. This was years of of it having my grips. But I think really ultimately what helped me was I had a vision of who I wanted to be. Like, I had a vision of being a man that had, self-control, that, anybody walk by and flash a little something at me, that I wasn't breaking from anything that I was doing and going toward it. So I think practically speaking, if you know that there's something you have to release, you have to see a vision. If there's a relationship that you need to release, it doesn't serve you, it doesn't bring the best out of you, then you have to first envision yourself. Who am I going to be once I'm past this relationship? What one thing about releasing is you can't step into what's next holding on to what is.
Man,
And
yeah.
so I can go on and on, man. I'm a preacher, so I don't want to keep talking,
No,
but
keep going, bro. Let's go. I didn't ask BT to come on here.
yeah,
Just to, yo, come on. I'm like, I need
yeah,
that, bro. I need that in my life, man.
yeah,
And as I feel so honored and privileged that you shared, like, because people don't usually hear that from a pastor, like talking
oh
about
yeah,
like dealing with sexuality in that way, or like for
yeah,
me, it was similar, same situation, but also drinking and different things. And it was like, once I was able to release one thing, it started to like flow over into another aspect of my life. Meaning when I stopped like eating certain foods and then stopped drinking as much, like I was able to take, more power of myself and not be subjected to like sexual lust as much. You know what I'm saying? And I think, I'm glad to hear, because we all go through this stuff, man. That's the
yeah,
thing about it. We all like, it's something that we all like, and we all say we all have these gifts and the power to get to these goals, and we have these visions for ourselves, but we don't know some of the weight that we carrying. It's hard sometimes to even see it. You don't even know you carrying it in
yeah,
many ways. And for me, I didn't know it either. Like that I was carrying that weight, and I didn't know how to let go of it, and that it wasn't serving me. But I think,
yeah.
I think we get that. Some of it comes with wisdom and experiences. But I'm glad that we can share this now. Like, so this might be
Yeah.
somebody, it might be a teenager on here like, damn, I need to take heed to this.
Absolutely. And you said a couple of things. You mentioned therapy. Sometimes there are things operating in your blind spot that even with the best of intentions, you can't even access it. It can be generational. It could have been in your life so long that you think is you, but it's actually some broken area working. So therapy, obviously, we talked about it before. I see a therapist every Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock. you know, good times, bad. It doesn't even matter. It's not even about being in a bad place. It's about being my best self. And so sometimes you have to find support in order to release.
Yeah.
There's accountability. If you have a good therapist, or you guys have a good connection, there's accountability in there to help you release. And then I love you. You also talked about how discipline in one area made you discipline in other areas. And that's why, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Raj, man. I'm after mastery.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not gonna be perfect, on this side of heaven, but I'm trying to go from level to level, just like you. I see you leveling up in so many ways, but I'm trying to like I'm after mastery. So for me, what that means is if there's like one area in my life that I'm not really cool with, I'm not gonna just allow it. I might not tackle it today, but it's in my sights. Because that little tire around the midsection. You know what happened when
Yeah.
you cross that 40 mark? Boom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That tire. Like you might look. I may not get you today,
Yeah.
but my eye, my sight, you in my sights.
Yeah.
You going down. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah. Dude, I so understand that. And I'm so glad to hear that about mastery, because, man, that's what it ultimately boils down to me. Like, I feel like I want to master every aspect of my life, man. Like, I feel like I owe that to God. I owe that to myself, man. I owe that to people, that anybody, my family, and people that come in contact with me through whichever way, whether I greet them on the street or through the art that I create. I like, man, I gotta master myself, and just so that I could be the example that I want to be, and live the life as full as God created me to live that life. Like, I know that like mastering these certain areas will get me there. So I really thank you for saying that, because that's what it boils down to. And I've been wanting to encourage everybody this on this, whether they on this journey or not, on like 7 days of imagination or just in life, man, let's master ourselves, man. And I think it's something when you're in a room with masters, because everybody can, and like you said, ain't nobody perfect, but everybody can be in their power, and everybody can like acknowledge each other and lift each other and like and adore each other too. It's like me and you sit down and we build, and it's just like, man, it's like a joy when I'm around you, because it's like I'm dealing with a master. And you know, wow, we both know we ain't perfect. We'll joke and talk our little stuff. But man, when we building, it's building. Yeah. Like, you know, this is how we build. Like, so I really appreciate that message. You was talking about something over the weekend. I know I had to take you back to a sermon, but you were saying, like, reminding us of not to go back to where we were. And I really wanted to like reiterate that, because I found myself like in that line of like, okay, yeah, let me get back to the hustle and the grind. And we talked so much, oh, the grind. And I was like, wait, what was all these gifts that I was getting during this time? That where are these gifts? I gotta keep like focused on that and nurture that too. And like continue to practice that. Like that's what gave me, I actually knew life in a way that I have never known life in this past year and a half, you know, including the bad times and the good. But the good brought out something in me that was like greater than I never knew existed within me. And I want to continue on that path. You know, I want to continue on that path. And you talked about it. And what are some of the things you feel like we can do to make sure we move forward in that power that we've found in this year and a half?
Absolutely. The first thing is to slow down. Like we were at a pace. I mean, what happened was the whole world was at a pace and it was slow. Anytime you slow down, like, you know, I ride motorcycles now. And one of the things I love about riding is I see life from a completely different vantage point from what it would be like if I was driving in a car, because I'm out there. It's me in the element and I see more. And it's the same thing with us when we slow down. Like when we slow down, we're able to see more. We have more truth and honesty and priority when we slow down. So the first thing I would say is slow down. Things are heating back up, man. We're excited to get back at it and to do all that. But look at that word. We're excited to get back at it. Yeah. No, baby, it's everything's forward. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, so for me, like I have this trepidation about jumping back in, because the world changed and I changed, and it's not even, you can't even go back because the world itself ain't what it was. So you're gonna try to go up and show up in there's this passage in the scripture that says you can't put new wine in old wineskins. We have become new wine through the crushing of us. If we were grapes, you know, this last year and a half crushed us, right? But you can't have good wine, you know what I mean, without that crushing. And so I feel like we have to slow down. I think that we have to reflect. We have to go back and, okay, what did God teach me throughout this time? My priorities shifted. What did God show me? We were our most creative. We were very innovative. Once we got through the trauma of the pandemic, and I still think that that's a process too. But once we got through that, because we are survivors, we started figuring out how to make life work and created this new normal. We pivoted. And so I don't think that was a temporary pivot. I believe that really most of that pivoting was permanent. And so I think that we have to slow down. We've got to reflect. Okay, wait, what did I learn? And then we have to implement and resist the masses. I love everybody, but you have sheep and you got shepherds. You got leaders and you got followers. The masses are going to kind of just go back to normal, but we're called to lead. We're called to lead, and to lead, you got to lead with patience. You got to lead by slowing down. You got to lead by reflection, and then a commitment to implement what you learn. That's kind of just some basics that I would say.
Man, I need that. And and I so watch my words now. I don't be like, man, we gonna go back to no. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back for anything in
No,
anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
no,
good. So I really that reflection, all the things you just said. I'm taking heed to that and just knowing that like that's what I want to do. I want to move forward, and within that, like releasing these things that I've been holding on to is essential, and reflecting also is essential. So man,
yeah,
I'm just grateful for you, brother, and like I know you got meetings to get to and stuff, so I just don't want to like
no.
overtake my time. But
No, we're good. I want to say one more thing. One more
yes,
thing. So you were talking about, and I see you do this. And Rashid, I got to tell you, man, I don't even know if I've ever said this to you, but just watching, we talked about EPMD, we talked about, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Black Moon, and all of them, and probably because I was sitting with you, I didn't mention you because you were it, man. You were like an image of, like, in my estimation, uh pure art. And I could say that about a lot of people, but I'm talking to you right now. But you were like pure art. I could tell it was true to you. You were making us think. I grew up in, I grew up in Watts, and
yeah,
and your message made me think. Now that was back then. You have been consistent. You have been consistently you. And I watched you evolve and continue to evolve, and you still evolve. And it's almost like the fountain of youth, even. You're just evolving. And you mentioned mastery and having everything, like working hard to get everything tight. And then you also mentioned imagination, which is your song, which I love that song. I played it for my son in the car the other day. We were going down. Actually, he was with me when we was driving, when we was
oh
talking.
what
And I played the song, and he was like, "Oh man, he's 18. He's like, yo,
what
man, that's
I'm,
like,
I'm getting a little bit of the
yo,
youth with that. Come on,
yo, no, it's so good, but I just really appreciate that. But what I wanted to say before we go is, Abraham is one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite inspirations in the scripture. And there's this passage in Genesis 24 that says this about him, and I want to attain to this. And it says, and Abraham was old, he was well advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. And I look at Abraham's life, and he had a journey. It was a journey of evolution. He didn't believe real good at first. Then he became the father of faith. He didn't believe things were going to happen. And went and got his little side, person pregnant or whatever.
yeah.
You know, and then, but it was this journey. But there was one step on the journey, Rosh, that is connected to your song. And on the journey, he was having a moment of doubt. How am I going to produce all these things that God is telling me that I'm supposed to produce? And God says, hey, Abraham, go outside for a second, step out your house. Now I want you to look up at the stars and see if you can count them. And what he was doing, and then he said, basically, your descendants are going to be like that. But what he was doing was he was unlocking his imagination. He pulled him out of his environment, because sometimes we can't imagine because our environment is too small. It
Yeah.
just is what it is. And so he takes him out of his house and under an open heaven with all these stars, and he unlocked his imagination, and Abraham went to go and do great things. And so I just think,
Bro,
man, that song, talking about imagine, I honestly believe, and maybe this is a prophetic word, but I honestly believe that this song and the other songs that you're working on is going to unlock the best in us. And the best in us is our ability to create, but to create according to a next level imagination. I believe that with all my heart, man.
brother, bro, PT, you just gave me, man, yo, I was about to just walk off for a minute because I ain't gonna front, man. What you just said is, man, that's what, yo, thank you for saying that because that's what I wanted that song to do was for people to see what you just said, to see like beyond, step out the house and see beyond what you said it. I'm not gonna try to like you said it. Please, I want people to just see like what they can create and what God has given us to create, and the power we have, the God within us that we have to create, because we connected to a higher power, and we are a reflection of God, and his DNA is ours. We like we created in that abundance, and we talk. It's this passage that one of your favorites that you shared in church a lot, and I started I had never looked at that Psalm 1-3. You speak on that one a lot, and it made me realize how fruitful I'm supposed to be. And I just be wanting to put that into everybody that's within reach. Anybody that hears the words, that sees us. And I know that that's that's what you do, and that's what your mission is. I know where your heart is. Thank you for them words. And before you get off, we was asking ourselves these questions. So I want to ask you, because we was asking ourselves these questions. What was the last thing that changed you? What was the last situation or thing that changed you? We were asking ourselves that in the workout. So I just said, let me ask PT this, because what's the last thing that changed you?
Ooh, well, so I'm thinking about the most recent change I have, and I'm trying to reduce it down to a single event, but I don't know if I can. But I'll tell you what the change is. The change has been me fully embracing myself, like my uniqueness, because I went through this season, man, where I was really questioning myself. Like I took my eyes off of who I knew I was and what I knew I can build. And I started looking and comparing and questioning. And in all of that, I kind of lost myself a little bit, right? I don't even think the world knew, because I was still doing my thing, but I lost myself a little bit. I lost confidence in the unique grace that's on my life. That's like nobody else. And I think that's one of the things that the wicked one does. He is an enemy to identity, because it's in your unique expression, not you trying to be like somebody, but you discovering who you are and expressing it fully. I don't think that we are fully alive until we are in our full expression of self. Not in what culture tells us we're supposed to be, not in what, whoever tells us we're supposed to be, but we are us. It's in us. And I think life is about, staring in the face of God and allowing, since we were created in the image of God, allowing that image to reflect back to us, letting it affirm us, letting it build us up. And then you ain't alive until you express it confidently, boldly, like you the booger with the sugar. It's not proud. It ain't even pride. It ain't even arrogance. It's just assurance, And so for me, I think it was just a series of showing up as less than who I know I am in the world that made me say, I'm better than this. The key word there is I'm better than this. I've got to be me. And if I show up as me, then everything has to shift from around me. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying?
Bro, I feel it all the way to the 1000th degree, man. I love you, man, and
love you too,
dude. Talking to you, man, it's like it's the best, man. It's brighten up my whole day, man. I think so many people are grateful for what just you sharing your wisdom, you being truthful, you being a leader and a person that's within the church but can reach people beyond the church that ain't even thinking about church. And you always talk about that, like, what's the new vision of church? So thank you for what you're doing. You're doing the work in the way that Jesus was, like speaking to the real people, to the people, man, to the people. I'm talking about the people.
Yes, sir.
So you're doing that, man. And thank you for taking time out. I know you got a wonderful day to go accomplish great things, but you took time out your day to spend with me, man, and us. So I just want to say how grateful I am, and I love you, bro. And we'll be connected real soon. But thank
absolutely.
You,
You're welcome. I love you too, man. Thanks for having me. And we'll get up soon. Okay.
Love, PT.
Love. Blessings.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.